Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Playful Life. I am your host, Krystal, the Playful Trainer. And thank you for joining us today on this gorgeous Thursday morning. It is very nice here in Chicago, at least. I know we have people watching kind of all over the United States and all over the world. So I hope you're having some good weather as we kick off June and get rolling into the summer. I have two guests on the show today. So they're both incredible women. Erin Ollis, she's the cheeky mom here at Ron Harlow Media, and my dear friend Martha Suarez. So very grateful that they're here joining me today for this conversation. We're going to be delving into an interesting topic that is really very close to home for me. They both have children, and they're both incredible moms, and they have this issue of, okay, how, like, they're getting healthy, they're doing this fitness challenge with me, and now they're seeing that they kind of want this healthy lifestyle to expand to their family, and especially their children, and how what are some of the challenges facing kids right now with weight and body image and all these things, and how can we be great role models for our families and our kids and future generations. So thank you for joining us for that conversation. If you want to join in, of course, drop us a comment here on Facebook or YouTube. And as always, thanks to Ron Harlow Media for hosting our show here. And he did give me a list of all his sponsors. So I'm really excited that I can finally, actually give justice to the sponsors and not just wing it off the top of my head. So the first one here I want to mention is Dr. Tori's Dental Shop. She's been a sponsor here from the beginning with Ron Harlow Media. She's an awesome dentist. She sees adults and kids and people of all ages, and she just really has an awesome staff there. And Humane Indiana. I know Erin, I would love for her to chat really quick too at some point here. I know she's doing some kind of thing with Jeff Detlow, and they're going to be looking to help people adopt pets and stuff. So I want to hear more about that. So more from our sponsors later. Let's just go ahead and kick this off. I'm going to introduce you guys to Martha and Erin. Hi, ladies.
Good morning. Hi, good morning. Hi, guys. Good morning.
Thanks so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm going to go ahead and share this really quick on a watch party. But Erin, while it's on the top of my mind, do you want to just tell listeners or watchers really quick about what you guys are doing on your podcast with the pets and the rescues?
Well, it's still in the works. My mom is a huge lover of animals, and she raised us to be the same. That's why my house is full of critters. And so she was like, one of your sponsors is Humane Indiana or something, right? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, why aren't you doing anything for them? Why can't you have like a pet of the week or something like that? And I was like, oh my God, that is such a great idea. So I reached out to Jeff Detlow because at the end of this month, the 24th, I want to have him once a month drink beer with me and talk about like being parents and what good beers to kick off the summer, et cetera, et cetera.
That's on your cheat day.
Yes. Well, you know what? I got, I'll talk about the skinny drinks that I found on Amazon that I love right now. So, but anyways, so I texted him and I said, hey, instead of drinking beer, is there a way that we can go there and like talk and show people like animals that are up for adoption or what? And he's like, oh my God, we need to talk about this. I love beer. I love animals. Let's do this. So it's in the works right now, but I'm trying, and since he's on the board there, I figured this is the perfect time for him to shine, for me to shine, and just help out one of our sponsors.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And Jeff does the Pints in the Park every year.
That's we went last year, my husband and I swear we spent over like $50 on just like the games to play with to raise money for the Humane Indiana.
Cool.
And so my husband's like, where did all our money go? I'm like, to play silly games for the Humane Society.
Hey, that's playful. That's playful.
And it was fun. It was a great time. So yeah, we had a really great time. And he was saying that with COVID,
Uh-oh, Erin.
Okay.
Oh, there
Are
you
we
go.
okay?
You're back now. Yeah.
Sorry. My kids are not up yet, so I was hoping the internet would be okay. So yeah, that's what. So that's why that's what I want to work on with him. So that's in the making. I just gotta. He's closing on houses and stuff, so I gotta nail him down and get the gist of what we're gonna be up to. So
Awesome.
yeah.
And Jeff actually comes to the gym where Martha and I train together.
What a small world.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I know. So Martha, he's probably boxed with you before, the guy we're speaking about. So, and that's Class UFC in Munster. So yeah. So Erin, we'll have to get you out there someday to actually hit a bat.
Absolutely.
Because I know that you've been doing your boxing workouts at home. So it's a whole nother thing when you get to actually strike something.
Yeah, I think I need that some days, especially with my kids all being home all this time.
Yeah, let me know what day. That way
That's
I'll
what the best
be there.
part was. Yeah,
let me know what day, Erin.
Teens.
Awesome. So Martha, thanks for joining us too. And
thank you for having me.
You can just kind of give us a little bit of background about yourself, maybe a little bit. So how, if you want to kind of tell the story about how you came to class and we met.
Yeah.
How what your journey was like bringing you to that point.
Well, thank you so much. First and foremost, thank you for having me on the show. And how I got to UFC, one of my colleagues invited me to go to try this gym. And, you know, we've all been there where we've had a gym membership and we go once and then we don't go anymore. And and I've had that before. And I have to say with UFC, it's been a completely different journey. It's a different feel. It's a different aura. It's been quite a journey there. And I think that the coaches there are exceptional. And it makes a huge difference. It does. For me to drive from Cedar Lake to Munster, having 3 gyms around me, or even probably more than that, that speaks all in itself, you know, that the quality and the drive that, you know, this gym gives. So I'm really grateful about having that opportunity and going to this gym. I'm originally born and raised in Chicago, and I've been living in Indiana for more than 20 years now. And we moved to Cedar Lake about 3 years ago. So that's, you know, just a little tiny.
She's still getting used to the country out there.
Yeah. You know, I like the car chases that you have. You know, people go, you know, I love that. And it's, you know, my husband tells me, he goes, how can you deal with the noise? I go, I love it. It goes beyond Garrett's popcorn and the bean. I mean, Chicago is not just that, you know.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's just the melting pot and just the beauty of it. You know, there's a certain smell to the city, maybe not always pleasant, but there's just a certain feel and a certain, just the sounds, and that brings me to life. So that is why, you know, it's a little bit challenging, I would have to say, of being here. But, you know, there's positives as well. And so I'm grateful, you know, it's all about change and embracing. So let's get to it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Erin, I'm not sure. I know you live in Crown Point now, but were you always a country gal or?
No, not at all. I grew up in Homewood, Illinois. So, and then my husband and I, when we got married, we moved out to Frankfurt and we lived there for 13 years. And it was like, we were living in an okay house. Like it was not my house. Like I never felt like I was home there. And I had some friends that lived out in Indiana and they're like, you should move out here. The taxes are lower. It's, you know, quieter. So we started looking for houses in 2012 and we weren't finding anything. And I was like, well, maybe we're just destined to stay in Illinois. And of course, me and my husband did not agree on any house. I'm like, oh my God, it's so old and majestic. And he's like, this is going to be a total pain in the ass to own this house. No, 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 no. And then we came to the house that we live in now. And I was like, don't say anything. And I loved it. It was a 1952 Cape Cod, and it was just what I wanted. It had 5 bedrooms, but from the outside, you would never know that I have 5 bedrooms. And it was perfect for us. And I'm like, don't say anything, don't say anything. And he looked over at me and he had like kind of a face. And I was like, so what do you think? Is this house okay? I mean, it is okay. He's like, I love it. I'm like, oh my God, so do I. And we put a bid on it that day and we got it. And we moved out here in 2013 and we love it.
Cool.
So yeah. And I'm making stuff because I'm really crafty and stuff, and
Really?
I'm making stuff for a store in Cedar Lake. So I've been down there a couple times.
Which store is that? Which store?
It's just opening, and it's called the Beach Palette.
Oh.
It's right down like the street from the Sandbar in that like strip mall.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'll have to go and check it out.
Yes, it's really
That's really exciting.
Gosh.
Yeah, and she's doing like all of this great stuff where there's going to be classes for kids to learn art and stuff like that. Because in the front is like a cute little like boutique store,
Yeah.
and she's got 5 or 6 different people bringing stuff in, like different people that with their crafts.
Yeah.
And then in the back is a bunch of tables and stuff like that she's going to be able to have classes for kids and adults. So I'll be teaching knitting classes and stuff like that.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Right. Oh, I love that.
Yes.
This is,
I know where Cedar Lake is.
Yeah, this is a good time for, I think, small businesses like that to maybe like start to flourish. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope so.
We'll see. I think people are more in the mindset of let's do something local.
Yes. Definitely. I know I am. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd love to, chat a little bit about how we all came together on this call. So Martha and Erin and a couple of other people, Ron Harlow, one of them is kind of joining me and some other coaches in like a fitness, wellness, lifestyle challenge, if you will, where we're establishing some healthy habits. And Erin had some awesome results like the first time she did this. So I'm so excited that she's doing it again. And, so we kind of been talking with each other there. And I thought, well, it'd be great to have Erin on the show again and kind of talk about this challenge. And Erin brought up to me that, one of her sons is having some just challenges with his weight and things like that. And Martha and I have had similar conversations about her son as well. And it got me thinking that, well, gosh, if these are 2 women that I know just without casting my net very far, that are having these challenges with their kids, I'm sure that there are other parents out there who are also having these same challenges. So Erin, I don't know if you want to, of course we're talking about kids here. So of course, only divulge how much information you want to, but so what was sort of that conversation and what sparked your interest in, us having this conversation here today?
And both of my boys are dyslexic and they have ADHD, and so they have to be put on a certain med. They were on this, I think it's Adderall Junior or whatever, XL or I don't know, one of those things. But it's kind of like just so they can focus. And the problem with that pill is that it gives them no appetite. I have a friend that is on it, and she says some days she doesn't even want to eat. Food sounds disgusting. So that's why I have to hide my prescriptions, because if I took it, I'd be thin. So obviously I'm not taking their pills. But yeah, so I have to go every 3 months to get 3 months worth of prescriptions, because it's like something people steal. So the problem is that I have 2 boys that are total opposites. So I have Jack, who is 15, and we went down on his prescription because he's kind of phasing out of it. Like he doesn't need it as much and he's not relying on the meds as much. But since he's not taking it, he's gaining a lot of weight. And so, but he's growing. Like yesterday, he's 5'11" and 200 and I think she said 210 pounds. So he's a big kid to begin with. And then we joke with him because I don't want it to be like one of those things where like, hey, fatty, you know, kind of thing. But at the same time, I'm like, listen, we've got to do something. And he knows, I mean, he's feeling like he knows kind of thing. And since I'm eating healthier, I'm making all of them eat healthier. But at the same time, I still do have like reduced fat Ritz or something, you know, like I try to get like a snack that's kind of healthy, but I don't want to take it totally away from them, which I guess I should. But then I have Ted, and he is 13. And I noticed during quarantine, there's a lot of half-eaten stuff. And so I'm like, buddy, you're not eating anything. And he's losing weight and he's getting really, really thin and he's not growing. So I walk in and I have a 5'11", 210-pound kid, and I have a 4'11" kid that is 88 pounds, soaking wet. So it's kind of like, I feel like judged right off the bat kind of thing when I walk into the pediatrician. And then yesterday she's like, I'm going to let it slide because he has been in quarantine, but something needs to give. And I just felt horrible because it's like, it's me. It's also me. It's like, I'm not forcing him to get out there, but I don't know. So him and I had a chat last night.
He's 15, you said?
Yeah, he's 15. So I told him, I said, we got to get you on your bike. We got to get you doing something. Because I bought the ring, which is for the switch. And he was doing that, but it's just like he got tired of it, or, you know, it's like, it's frustrating because he's me all over again. Like he makes up an excuse. Well, not today. I'm not feeling it. You know, like he's me. So I told him that we're going to have to get his bike going. His friend is taking gym class through the high school for summer school, and they might have to go outside and do exercises on their own. So I talked to his mom, and we might get the boys out to ride their bikes together, something to get Jack moving. We've got to get him moving. So
that's great.
It's frustrating because it's like, and I have a daughter who's 10 and she doesn't want to wear sundresses because her arms are fat, and they're not. She's listening to her mother who hates her arms.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So
I'm like, yes.
Yeah, Martha's fine.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I'm listening to my 10-year-old tell me she's fat, and it's breaking my heart. And so it's kind of like something's got to change. I'm changing as much as I can for them to eat, but it's the exercise that I need help with. And she was doing the boxing with me, but once again, it's kind of like she got bored with it. Or, oh, I don't want to get up at 6 and exercise. Oh my God, you know, so that's not happening.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh boy. Okay. So thank you for sharing all of that. No, that's awesome. Thank you. Because
Krystal, fix this.
Yeah, right. Give me answers.
And I see Martha over here shaking her head about many, many things. So Martha, maybe share your experience. And then, you know, I feel like just when people come together and they share that experience, it's like, oh my gosh, we're going through the same thing. Right.
Right.
So, yeah. So Martha, what's happening with your boy?
Definitely. Thank you. So, we had a lot of aha moments during this journey now with Ashtons Weight. He's a great kid. Erin, you touched on, you know, the mom guilt, and that same thing. You see things kind of like, you know, unfolding at the pediatrician, and you feel like this big, and you're like, where did I go wrong? Right? Where did I go wrong? And this is kind of like deja vu. Like, how did this happen? You know, I'm over here trying to change the way that my family works because, you know, I was also, you know, an overweight child, but my life or Ashton's life is nothing like at all. And, you know, and Krystal and I have had this conversation. Nothing at all like what I had. There was a lot of chaos, you know, a lot of verbal abuse in my home. And so my escape was food. You know, I used to hide food under the bed. And so I knew that once I knew I was going to become a mom, things were going to be different. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do this. And this is what I'm going to incorporate. And then, you know, go to the pediatrician and you get this kind of like a finger wag look. You know, your son is overweight. And, the nurse practitioner, very nice, and she was very, professional. And she said, hey, your son, we have a problem, and your son is overweight. I recommend, she said, that you go to a therapist. That was her first thing. So, but let me tell you, that was my reaction as well. That was my reaction. And I'm thinking, oh, okay. And my husband, he was just like, forget it. This is not, I don't like where this is going. Because he likes what he likes and he likes where he's at, so I can't, and I know that I can't change him. So I knew that this journey, I would have to kind of do it on my own. But the great thing is that, he just may roll his eyes, but he's like, okay, fine. I know. Okay, that's fine. You want to do your nature path, whatever, hippie stuff. That's fine, but all this to say, once I did go and get the therapist, and let me tell you, we did have a breakthrough, believe it or not. One of the questions that the therapist asked me was, so when did you notice the change in Ashton's weight? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, no one's ever asked me that. What quickly I reverted to the pictures that you have on your fridge of your
yeah.
kids, and they have like the year. I'm like, wait a minute. And so I'm thinking, wait a minute, 2012 and then 2014, he's looking kind of thick. So what happened between 2012 and 2014? And all of us, and the therapist is looking at me really intently, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I said, my mother had a stroke in 2013. I said, and she's like, there you go. So, that was from there. Now we had something to work with. And so then I said, well, yeah, he did. He asked me, like if he was going to die, is grandma going to die? How, all these questions about death. So that, kind of catapulted into, the eating, like I wanted to have a burger last night when I was watching the live feed. He and stressing over this car chase. He was stressing over grandma. So hence began this relationship with food where I was finding, empty bags of chips, that were hidden. And so where we are at now, fast forward, our lifeboat, the second time that we went to the pediatrician, still the finger wag, still the mom guilt, still the shame, and a tug of war with Ash, where I'm just like, come on, we've gotta do this, we've gotta help me out. And the second thing that the nurse practitioner suggested was a nutritionist, and I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking, where do I go? And that's where I had the second aha moment, which was Jody Barnett, Dr.
Okay.
Kelly, and that she has been the lifeboat. She has been the saving grace of this whole journey at this point, because I took Ashton for a consultation. We had the testing that she has with the urine. You have to give her a sample with the urine, and from there she comes up with some type of diagnosis, what he's lacking as far as minerals and vitamins, and she goes from there. And weight, age, etc., and genetics, of course.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with this poor kid didn't have a chance on both sides of the
I
family.
know.
I'm just like, this poor child. We have heart disease, we have diabetes, we have stroke. It's just pick your poison. So
Right.
I'm trying to save him, and for him to, because this is going to be cyclical. If we don't nip it in the bud, it's just going to be cyclical, generational, whatever you want to call it. And I guess for me, I got not as part of the guilt, but my responsibility as a parent to implement
Right.
just a good life, because at the end of the day, that's what we want for our kids. We want a better life for them, and why not with health. So
Well, and
Jody
that
has been amazing, and we actually have an appointment with her, a follow-up appointment, and he's lost weight. He has lost weight slowly but surely, but he's lost weight, and Krystal has seen I take him on walks. When the group goes out on walks, I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna take Ashton. Does he look thrilled? No. Is he thrilled? No. He's just like, I don't want to be with. I don't know these people. I don't know, but I can't get him outside. There are a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
And I think part of it too, with the move that we did 3 years ago, there has been a challenge with him fitting in. So all these factors that are thrown into our children right now, the quarantine, the rug was just pulled from under them. So it's a perfect storm. You have the quarantine.
Yeah.
You have, mom. I'll speak for myself. The mom asking dad, "Hey, honey, do I look fat?" They're listening.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
listening. And so I stopped that. Because I saw him say, "Hey, mommy, does this shirt make me look fat?" And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, it doesn't. But then I'm like, okay, I, finger wag to me because I've created that. And so in moving forward, the only thing that, I can do better in order for him to do better. And I just have to set that template and just be kind of, with Jody's help, kind of be, just, I don't want to say vigilant because it's almost like hovering. I don't want to be the, that helicopter mom, but
Yeah.
with the food, but it's very hard. It's very challenging. And just so many, like I said, so many things, the quarantine, the schooling. Oh, one thing that and Erin, I don't know what you think about this. The challenge for me as well, the saving grace, I think part of it too was the fact that we went into quarantine and school was canceled for the rest of the year because of the school lunch. The school lunch is a huge factor. These I understand that the school system is well intentioned in providing food for the children. I get that. But some of this stuff is, I'm looking at the list because I get a list of his shopping list of what he eats, and I'm like, 2 Rice Krispies. First of all, you paid $1.75 for them, and
Right.
and Rice Krispies and the Izzy fizzy drink, and so all this sugar. And of course, by the time he gets off the school bus, he's crashed like 5 times already. And then he just wants more salty and crunchy and chocolatey and stuff. So hence begins that tug of war. But these lunches, this is something that we talked about, and Krystal and I have talked about maybe just implementing like Pizza Fridays. I mean, she had a great idea, and I'm going to use that. Pizza Fridays. That way, he can kind of join in on, with his friends with Pizza Fridays, and then Monday through Thursday have some type of, just his own lunch. Something that I help him make.
Yeah.
And
They make their own lunches because not because I'm trying to make them eat healthy. It's because they're too lazy and don't want to wait in line for actual lunches.
and
So
see, that's a good
they
thing,
make
though.
their own lunches. But at the same time, I know Jack's money goes down a lot faster than Ted's, and Ted is really shy. So he's not going up and talking to nobody. So like he eats his lunch and that's it. Like I'm sure Ted still has $50 from the first month that I put it in there in last September. But like Jack has got, like, Jack was going through all this money. I'm like, what are you buying? He's like, oh, I'm buying water. I'm like, water? You're buying water? I'm like, I can kill you.
No.
Like, it's like $2 for water.
Right. I can buy a whole case for that.
Right?
Being at a baseball game.
Yes. And so he was buying water, which I could have killed him, but then he was buying extra bags of chips and stuff. And I'm like, no, that's not. I said, once you're done for the month. So I had put a cap on it. So it was kind of like, I'd give him $20 for the whole month. And once he hit it, if he wanted to go crazy, but at the same time, he still had like gym class and stuff. So I was kind of like, okay, I'll let it slide. But yeah, I totally know what you're talking about. Cause it's like I can't control him there.
Yes.
I can control what comes in my house. I can't control what's there. And I don't have that here. So that's why he's going there.
Yes. And in the monetary and the intake of it, just what they're buying with our money,
Right.
And that I think that's huge. That's a huge takeaway is how to I know it's always been a kind of like a tug of war with these lunches. I think the chef Jamie Oliver, back, years ago, he had some type of movement. I don't know if it was out in the UK or out here. Michelle Obama, same thing. And it fizzles because, again, as we all know, healthy is not cheap.
No.
And reverting, going to that and kind of adjusting to that monetarily, it's a chunk. But then what people don't understand is that it's a lifelong, it's for your health. You're investing in yourself. And I know that sounds kind of maybe cheesy
Yeah.
or contrived,
No, it's true.
but it's easier said than done. I think one of the things, before I forget, that that I have to, that I would like to suggest, is one of the things with Ashton is we have to have, and again, I'm just speaking for myself and giving, my experience, not saying that it's not already happening, Erin, is have conversations.
Yeah.
One thing that I've learned is that you don't go up to a teenager and say, "Let's talk. Do you want to talk about anything?" Because you get an eyeball roll and like, no.
Yeah,
Okay, Mom, you're
100%.
being weird. And
Yes.
so, we kind of did, like a jigsaw puzzle. And during that time, that's when he slowly started kind of opening up. And, these kids have a lot of fears because, again, when we think that they're not watching, they are. They're absorbing everything. First, they probably feel the tension here at home, where we're worried about everything that's going on, financial, moral, society. Then they go out and they deal with their own stuff in their own world, the peer pressure, the not, people not wanting to include them in
Yeah.
that thing, being new, being the new kid. That was Ashton's challenge. It still is, even after 3 years. It's not been not very welcoming, I should say. So that's also, kind of contributing to that. So, but I think at the end of the day, it's just about, hearing them out. What are their fears? What are their challenges? What are they afraid of? What what do they see? What is the world through their eyes? And so that's huge. Sometimes one of the things that I noticed about myself, like, oh, he's a kid. What could he, we provide everything for him. What could he possibly want? But at the end of the day, it's just hearing them out and giving them a voice. I know, again, that sounds really cheesy, but I didn't grow up with
it's
that.
true though.
And so hence we have, kind of to give them that, let them take the stage and see. But again, I did learn the hard way. We're like, so Ash, do you want to talk? Do you have anything to say? Or no. You're being weird. Go away, or
Yeah.
leave me alone.
Oh, I get it.
But those would be my kind of my takeaways and my, my takeaways, bullet points. That's what I have.
Well, and before quarantine, it would be like, hey, I'm running to Target. You're coming with me. And I'd grab a kid just so that we could have like one-on-one time, because I have 3 and it's hard to have like any kind of one-on-one time.
Sure.
And I had 2 boys that had dyslexia. And so we had to go to a tutor in Homewood. So that was like 45 minutes every Tuesday. And I got to talk to the kids. And it was like, once it was like Jack graduated and then it was Ted's turn, it was kind of like I missed Jack, because it was like I had my Tuesdays with Jack anymore, but I was loving my days with Ted. And it's like a whole thing. And it's kind of like I'm trying to always have like, hey, if you guys have any problems, you can come to me. And it's kind of like I have that invitation out there, but it's not like my boys are going to come up to me and be like, I'm feeling a little fat lately, Mom. Like it's weird. Like Hazel will say, Mom, I don't feel like, I feel icky. I'm like, okay, let's work out. Like she knows that she's not feeling pretty or whatever. So I'm like, well, let's do something. Let's go do something. And we try to like, let's go ride our bikes or let's go do something. So she bought a jump rope and she's jump roping and all this other stuff. And she's trying, but it's kind of like the boys, they just, yeah, who cares? Who cares? Like, you smell
Well,
like a
yeah.
foot.
And the
Like, who
honest,
cares?
I mean, it's unfortunate, but I feel that
Yes.
girls are often very motivated by the aesthetics of it.
Mhm.
Um, which, to me, as an overweight kid, that was definitely a motivating factor. Just, feeling like I didn't look like the other girls. I didn't
Yeah.
wear the same clothes as the other girls. I didn't get the attention from the boys like the other girls. And so it's really hard because, like, as a parent, I can imagine, like, you don't want Hazel to feel like she's less
Yeah.
than or different, or there's something wrong with her, or something like that. So it's like when you're encouraging her to work out, it's like, okay, it's got to be the motivator of, like, something else other than the aesthetic, right? Because it's too easy to get fixated on that. And I mean, you don't want kids to just feel bad about their body image. I mean, I'm sure boys have a similar thing that they go through, but I don't know because I'm not a boy. But
Right.
but it's just, I can imagine that being just really tough. And I remember it was just funny having this conversation, and I think about this moment. It was very pivotal for me. So I was a heavy kid, and my mom would take me to doctors. Same thing, Krystal's got to lose weight, blah blah blah, and I danced and stuff, but I never played sports. I wasn't super active. And one of my best friends growing up, she was my neighbor, and I swear this girl could eat 3,000 calories and she'd
Oh, yeah.
burn it off. And so I was keeping up with her and her snacking, and I think the body image thing was something that affected me first because I tell the story in my book that we got weighed in school, and the teacher whispered my weight to me. I was the only kid that was so overweight, and it just made me feel really different and very odd, and so I knew there was something that needed to change. But we went on this field trip as a class to the dunes in Indiana. I don't know if I've told this story before, but we went on this field trip to the dunes, and my mother, God bless her, she had packed, I mean, it was probably a 70-degree day, but she acted like it was 30 degrees outside. So I had this coat, I had this backpack, I had all this stuff on me, which didn't help. And I was never going to make it to the top of that sand dune without all that stuff on my back. And the class, we get to this dune, and the class runs up this hill, and I mean, I was defeated probably 5 steps into this hill. I mean, I saw this hill, I was completely defeated. I made it as far as I could, but I gave up. I couldn't do it. At least I thought I couldn't do it, and I just stood there, and I was tearing up, and there's this chaperone, one of the boys' dads, saw me at the bottom of the hill and came back down, grabbed my backpack, took my arm, and, like, literally pulled me up this hill. And I think that was a moment to me where I was like, okay, this is more than how I look. This is, I'm missing out. I'm missing out on the fun. I'm missing out on this experience. I should have been able to do this. Everybody else did this with no problem. And so there was, like, that was the pain moment, right? We talk about, like, that pain moment that you have to face that. And that's hard because you love your kids, and you don't want to see them in pain, and you don't want to expose that pain, God forbid, but it has to happen. I think like they have to know that they're missing out, or something, like something's got to be that motivator for them to stick with it,
Right.
Yes.
Well, and it's like, I was picked on because I was chubby through my whole life. I've been fat my whole life. And it sucks because the only time that I ever got attention is when I had a eating disorder. And I don't want Hazel to go down the same road that I went down. And it's kind of like, it scares me because she looks like me, she acts like me, she's 100% me. And so it's like, when she starts, I see the pattern, and I'm like the other day, she's like eating like crackers for breakfast. And I'm like, what are you doing? I said, do you want me to make you an egg? You want me to teach you how to make an egg so you can have scrambled eggs or something instead? She's like, no, I'm fine. And I'm like, ugh. Like, it's like I can't, and I told her, it's like I can't bring in treats into the house because you guys abuse it. And I don't want to
Yes.
be that mom where it's like, okay, you can have a head of lettuce, that's what you can have for a snack, because that's what I was raised with. My mom didn't bring any junk into the house. And so it was like, once we were old enough to get on our bike, the
Yeah.
first thing we did was ride up to Cabot drugstore and just load up on candy. And it's like, my parents got a divorce when I was in 5th grade, and that's where I gained all my weight. It was kind of like I was hanging out with this kid, and him and I would walk up there, and him, like, he was a boy, so he's going to run off all of it. I mean, we're watching Ron just drop weight like crazy. And I'm like, because boys suck that way. But
Right.
um, so he would never gain the weight, but here I am just getting fatter and fatter. And girls at school were making fun of me. Girls at school were like leaving me out of things. And it was just, I mean, and she's going into that grade right now. In 5th grade, I'm like, oh man, the girls in 5th grade were vicious. And
Yep.
it's like, I don't want her to go through that. I don't want her to be picked on. And I don't know if they're going to do that because they don't put up with bullies as much as they did when we were little. But I don't know. I just don't want her to be judged, and I don't want her to have like the popular girls to like look at her like she's scum or whatever.
Right.
And it sucks. It sucks. Like when you see your kid hurt, like I just had to deal with it with my middle kid, Ted. He lost, like, one of his friends became popular in 6th grade and totally left him behind. And so he is gutted. Like, because this kid was the one that nobody was talking to. And Ted went over to him. He's like, why don't you eat with us? And like invited him in. And now the kids like will look right through him. And he's like, all of his popular friends, they look right through you. He's like, nobody likes me. I'm a freak. And da, da, da. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, dude, let me tell you something about popular kids.
Right.
It's all a farce. It's all a farce.
Yes.
My husband and I were like, we're both losers. It's okay.
And I had Ashton watch, this was a couple of months ago, maybe even longer than that. And, we were talking about that, about the hierarchy at school, and,
Yeah.
and I told him, I said, everything has a hierarchy, but here, let me have you watch some movies that mom grew up with. Okay. And here you go. You're going to watch Pretty in Pink,
right,
The Breakfast Club, and Weird Science. You're gonna, and this is what you're, and 16 Candles. Here you go. I don't think he watched Weird Science, but I said just to let you know that these stresses that you go through, they're completely normal. You just have to learn to maneuver them. I know that's easier said than done, but this is where we come in. You tell me. I said, because I am your advocate for right now. However, I'm not going to be around forever. So my job is to teach you to advocate for yourself. Yep. And let me tell you, do you not think that I don't go through that? Absolutely, I go through that, with, so, in the neighborhood, or, I mean, I have, I wear local H T-shirts with devils on them. I'm sure that some moms want to be my friend. I mean, I said, but, I just, or they see me come home late at night because I worked at 3:30 to 12. I work midnights. So I work in the city. Sometimes I come home at 2. I'm sure some of my neighbors are thinking, this woman comes in at 2:30 every morning. Honey, what do you think she does? She wears T-shirts with devils on them. What do you think she does? So I'm sure they have, when I go get the mail, then they're like, but I just want to know my little boy. I want him to know that mom goes through the same thing. You just have to learn to brush it off and let it roll off. And I've learned that, I have to credit my husband for that, because he's always like, I don't care. And so you learn what you live. And so I'm hoping that he sifts through all that. And because all that is what contributes to some of this eating and wanting this food. And I hope that, I know for you, Erin, I really do, I did, before I forget, I want to let you know, anytime you reach out and you want to just kind of like, I went to the pediatrician today and I got a finger wag, we'll exchange information, after the show, and know that there is someone walking in the same kind of like in the same path as you, and that guilt, that mom guilt, and Ashton's therapist tells me, you got to let go of that mom guilt, mom. You got to let go. You're trying the best that you can, and I know I am. So,
and I commend both of you ladies so much for doing, doing everything you can with yourselves to get healthier, because we're losing Erin. Because honestly, when it starts with you and you have the tools and you have the knowledge,
I'm fading in and out. I think my kids are up.
Yeah, I think so. We're kind of losing you in and out. But I was just saying, Erin, that I commend both you and Martha and all these other people who are doing this challenge, because leading by example is so huge. So huge. And when they see you, losing weight and just being healthier and being more active and being more confident, like those, like they're watching, right? They're watching everything. And so like, don't get so hung up on the negative things that they're watching, but just remember that they're watching all the positive things that you guys are doing too.
Yes.
Yes. Oh no.
Yes, definitely. Yes, the kids are up, and once you start getting that. Yes, well, thank you so much, Krystal. It's quite the journey, but it has to be done. I mean, there's no other option. So I think with me, I'm lucky enough to have Dr. Jody Barnett, and that's who between her, coupling her with the pediatrician's diagnosis as well, and tests, and kind of bringing them together, come up with that solution. And it's just getting into that habit, and we're slowly getting there. Chips are starting to get stale. We have an actual drawer where we keep snacks. And one of the things that and I did a little bit of pushback with the therapist was like, well, you can't have this food in the house. Well, here's the thing, I told her, how is he going to manage that in real life? I understand that. I know that we can't have the bagel bites and the pizza and the chips, but what is he going to do when he goes to college? And he has the roommate who's like 80 pounds wet and can eat that. There has to, he can't, is he going to ask his roommate to hide, the chips? I mean, we can't have that,
Right.
I went to Carrabba's a couple of days ago, and did I want pasta with chicken? Of course. I ended up having a salad and then brought the other salad home, that Caesar salad. So, and so it's just about willpower. I can't tell the ladies, don't order none of this because I can't eat it.
Right.
So that's,
kids work really well with incentives too. So, if you say, well, if you ride your bike, Jack, if you ride your bike 4 days this week, like I'll check this off. And then after you do it for a week, we could do this, or, and it doesn't have to be like buy him something. It could be like, you get to go do this, or, like something, anytime that you can incentivize those things.
That's a good idea.
Yes.
Because I'm even like that. If I have like a calendar and I just mark X's on the days that I work out, I'm like weird. I'm like, oh my God, look at all that I've done,
You have stickers on them.
Right. So maybe that's what I'll do. Get everybody on board.
Because it's that sense of like something that you could actually tangibly see, and that like that sense of self-efficacy is there for kids even, that, oh wow, I did that, that's pretty cool,
Yeah. Well, and it helps that like we have our own little garden and everything like that in the back. So it's kind of like they're getting excited because they know the cucumbers and tomatoes and zucchinis and all this stuff is going to be coming into the house soon. So it's just like a matter of waiting. But in the meantime, we're getting Imperfect produce, and I've got to go to Aldi's today because we're out of apples and oranges, and I try to keep all the healthy stuff, but they're crazy. It's like grapes. If I buy grapes, they're gone by the end of the day.
Right.
Like,
same here.
And I was like, hey, I love that you're eating healthy, but damn, hold some for tomorrow. They're expensive,
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know. And they're just growing, and they're like, where did all our groceries go? Because they're growing, especially with boys. It's just, growing
God,
boys.
brutal.
Yes, definitely.
I'm going through at least 8 gallons of milk a week now, because they are just like the cereal and I'm thirsty. Don't have a glass of milk. Have some water. I'm like, geez. Oh, but the milk is so good. I'm like,
Gallons. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're boys, and they're growing,
Yeah.
and even the little girl is growing, so yes.
Yeah.
I know I have to buy 2 gallons of milk at a time. I'm the one with the almond milk.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm trying to get Ash with the almond milk. It's really not working, but
I got one kid that'll have the almond milk, and the rest are like, I'm dying. I'm like, oh God.
How do you get milk from an almond? That's my husband's question. Whatever. It's good.
Yeah.
Well, you ladies are doing awesome. And, like I said, just, the more you educate yourself, and the more you can start, throwing some of those tidbits towards your kids, it's going to help. And I mean,
right.
You got to be patient.
I know. I'm trying, really trying.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a kid, that was the go-to was Healthy Choice or Snackwells or, so, I mean, my mom didn't know. She thought, well, if I buy Snackwells, that's better than buying Chips Ahoy. And then I'd eat the whole box, and that defeated the whole purpose, but it was that, we thought it was healthy, so, I mean, research and science has come such a long way that, if you have the tools and you can slowly start to implement those things, right? I mean, even as adults, right? It's hard for us to say, I'm not going to snack 4 hours between meals. I'm going to prioritize the protein, right? I mean, all these things as adults, we have trouble with going like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I mean, can you imagine what kids would feel like if we're like, all right, protein shake in the morning, no snacking. No, I mean, they'd be like, oh my God, their head would explode. So it's just those little things, and, incentivizing the wins and being patient.
Yeah, I agree
Right.
wholeheartedly. You just gonna keep going.
And now
there's
it's summer.
No other choice. Yes.
Yeah. Now that it's summer and I'm like in my healthy kick right now, I want to go hiking more, and I want to do stuff. And I drag them with. Like one summer, I wouldn't let them go to the beach until we did a trail, and they would be so mad. Like, okay, let's get this hike done so we can go play. God, and I'm like, I mean, and I this year they were like, can we do the 3 dune challenge? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it on a day that like nobody's going to be going to the beach anyways. Let's just go do the 3 dune challenge. And we've done that like almost every year. I don't think we did it last year because I wasn't in the right mind. But like this year, I'm like, let's do the 3 dune challenge. We could totally do it. We did it before. We could do it again.
Yeah.
And
that goes with
gotta
what
get them
Krystal
motivated.
said,
Mm-hmm.
So about the prize, at the end, what's the prize, and and too right now with our kids have this challenge now where where it's everything's sitting down, video games. It wasn't like when I grew up, or you grew up, or Krystal, there was more to do, more. There was just more. I mean, now just the sedentary life has really set in, and then a lot of the parents working from home, and which from what I hear whispers of parents again being really on edge right now because of having to balance that life of work at home and then the kids and go away and so be alone, go eat something. So it's just again about balance. I know that word is always around, but it's once you really, really hone in on it and say, okay, let me see what I can do to balance.
Yeah.
Before, I love ice cream. I can
So
eat
do
a
I.
whole gallon by myself. And I'm proud to say that, in Ashton as well. I mean, we love ice cream. And there's a half a gallon in the freezer I think it's freezer burn at this point, because of the changes that we've made. So it's just small steps. Like Krystal said, it's just about the small steps and implementing them, and just every day, just try to chip away at them.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not easy, or else we would all be healthy and,
Yeah.
and at the ideal weight, whatever that would be for each of us.
Yeah, we wouldn't be struggling
right.
every day,
That's
like
right.
every day trying to talk yourself into working out.
Right. Yeah. But the prize at the end of it is so worthwhile.
Yes.
Right.
That feeling of
That
accomplishment.
feeling better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think this is the most I've slept being on this program. This is the most I've slept. I don't know how long. Like I am having I'm sleeping through the night, when before I'd be like waking up like, oh, heartburn, or oh god, my stomach is just not right. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 5. I slept through the night. What happened? Everybody okay? Everybody breathing? I don't even know the last time I could sleep through the night. I was like, this is crazy.
I agree. Mm-hmm. Yes. Because even for Krystal's class yesterday at 8, I was just, and I felt, I mean, a little bit tired, but not like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get through this class? Or then I would feel nauseous, towards, kind of like midway in her class. And no, it's I'm excited. I mean, I know it's day 4, but I could definitely, you feel better. You do.
Yeah. Yeah, this is my second go on it, and I'm telling you, it was that first go. Like that first week was brutal. Like around 3:00, I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna die. Everybody, I'm gonna die. I'm hungry right here on my couch. I was like freaking out. I'd call Ron, and Ron's like, I'm starving. I'm like, me too. I'm like, this is crap. And I survived. Ron's survived. We're fine. And now it's like I don't even think about it. Like, it's not like this week has been too easy. I think it's just kind of like, I'm like, oh, I got to eat lunch. Like, I'm not even thinking about it. And like that first week and when I first started, that's all I thought about. Like, okay, in an hour I get to eat again. Oh my God. And like I moved up dinner because I was so starving. I'm like, calm down, lady. You're fine.
Yes. It's all about those adjustments. Yes. Oh my goodness.
And it's all in my head. I'm like, it was just ridiculous.
But did you die, Erin? Did you die?
No. In fact, I lost 14 pounds.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yes.
Yeah. So that's why I'm on it still. I'm like, dude, that was easy to lose 14 pounds after that first week where I almost died. Why am I doing this to myself? I'm starving. Oh, well.
Thank you for your honesty. I know, because it's
your openness. Yes, thank you. Our vulnerability, and that's sometimes we're afraid, with the vulnerability part, especially as mom and as women, we always want that tough exterior,
Yes.
and to be vulnerable, it's okay. It's okay for our kids and our peers to see us, vulnerable, because at the end of the day, we are human. We're not super people. We have challenges just like the next person.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
You know what I mean?
So, I totally know what you're talking
Well, this is so wonderful, ladies. Thank you for joining me. I really, really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Is there anything else either one of you would like to say or close with, or anything? I know I'm going to get you two connected after this. So after we end the broadcast, we could chat for just a few minutes. But
okay.
Yeah. So guys, thanks for tuning in. Everybody out there watching, we got a lot of people watching on Facebook and stuff. So remember, catch Ron Harlow here, Ron Harlow Media at 4:00 every day. And he's got a lot of interesting things to say about what's going on in the region right now. So tune in and you can get a good news source from him. And Erin, of course, I love her show. She had her kids on yesterday. That was really fun. You guys were talking about, summer goals and stuff. So check out Erin here on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. And yeah, just
thank you so much.
keep it going.
Krystal,
Stay
this was
playful.
awesome.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.